Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of GNN. Today is April 9th, 2025. And of course, we have a banner night on our hands here. But before we get into the details of our brand new mobile suit, let's go over some news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. As it blatantly can't be any more obvious, we have another entry from F91 in the form of the Heavygun. We do have a limited supply drop for the Yuridoga Psychomu test type for 550 and 600 now. So if you missed out on that, that's your chance to get that. I am very curious to see how it holds up. Now we do have a 750 cost guaranteed boosted supply drop for one, not two, but three, 4 guaranteed mobile suits. First one being discounted, but yeah, I don't know. Not sure about 750 quite yet, but it looks like you get a chance of Delta Plus, Unicorn, Kshatriya, and I think the Byloric Custom. Pretty neat stuff. Alright, so yeah, Pixie LA is now coming to the recycle ticket counter in the level 2 form, as well as the Titania level 2. We have the Ifrit Jaeger level 2 and the Helena Hagel Sniper level 2 there, and the Mia Breakin level 2, and the GM Spartan, which is 500 cost by the way, and the Alma Sterner High Mobility Zaku Ground type. So any of these on that list that we just kind of skimmed really quickly are on your menu, and you need that in your hangar. Hopefully you got enough recycle ticket tickets saved up, because chances are they're going to be pricey, but I think some of those are worth it, as well as the rifle for the Ifrit Jaeger. Now, what's being added to the DP exchange counter, which is really neat, big news, because I'm missing the level 2. We're getting both of them in the DP exchange counter. So if you ever wanted to get your chance to run with this special Block Dog Squad GM Spartan, which I'm hoping we get a regular GM Spartan general besides the RG, it would be a godsend to run that at 400 and run a full GM squad, but that's wishful thinking because this is here. It's solid. I wouldn't say it's the super best. It's meta, but it's pretty strong with its melee there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, jumping into our week's situational battle. This is a Moon Gundam themed event. So we have the Pseudo Federation side with the Moon Gundam, Reg Z Ideal, Modified Rick, Powered Jim 3 Full Armor, and the Jetta on the one side, with Neo Z on the other with the Dagdoll and the Zaku 4s, RS Jarja and Gaza G. Being on the other, it's going to be in Dark Space 5v5, so interesting so far. Now, this is pretty important because if you don't have a Modified Rick DJ, which is probably at the time when it came out one of the strongest 600 cost raids at the time with 2 melees, this is your chance to get it during the first week of this situation battle, plus some DP rewards. Following week after is going to be a chance for you to get the Zaku 4 support unit, as well as, again, DP rewards. Now, jumping into our main event with the Heavygun, this is a 2-star general type mobile suit based on the premise of compact mobile suits tied into the SNRI, the Strategic Naval Research Institute, proposed the Formula project, and once it was greenlit, Anaheim Electronics was called to develop this unit specifically, I guess, because I guess they wanted to keep the regular F90 series to themselves. This is supposed to be a successor to the Jigen, first compact mobile suit to be mass-produced by the Federated Forces, or the Federation General, because I guess the very first compact mobile suit was laid claim to the Crossbone Vanguard that was laid in waiting. So basically, because of its smaller size and using the Jigen generator, from what I was reading up on, they're saying that it, fully equipped, it is weighing half the weight of the Jigen, while with a 20% output increase. So 1.2 times the output, so basically that read that as 20%. Don't quote me on the math here. Anyways, pretty good stuff. Since there was no direct competition to this suit, This would be the main suit for a long while until the next generation of mobile suits would be coming out, and it would be outdone by the rise of compact mobile suits from the SNRI and the Crossbone Vanguard. So originally probably proposed by the... So technically they didn't. So SNRI didn't do this. Sorry, I misread that. I thought they had a little hand in it, but I believe this is the Anaheim Electronics version of that jump in there. So still, regardless of which, pretty solid. If you are doing 10 pulls for this, by the way, you do get a chance to get the F91 series Federation normal suit, both the helmet and the suit itself. Very famously introduced in the movie, as well as the, I believe, Formula Wars UC double, not double, 0122. Pretty cool stuff. So on to the main nitty-gritty with the suit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with our main event suit, the Heavygun. It's a definitely short little guy, because if you compare it to the likes of, like, say, the Oslo over here, it's like a headspace lower. So right off the bat, before we get into the primaries, because I see you guys can see that already, but going down the main stats line there, 90k HP is not bad. It is a little bit less durable in comparison to the Denzon, even though we're comparing two different cost ranges. This one does have a little bit more to play with in terms of beam and ballistic, but they are low 20s. And then your melee resistance is definitely something to be mindful of, because 18 is definitely not going to cut it. It is a range suit very much similar to the G-Gun that it's replacing, so a little more range heavy in that aspect with a little bit of melee strength. Decent stats in terms of movement speed, 135 for walking, 220 for top speed, and I would say decent amount of thruster gauge to play with, and really good turning speed, because if we look at the likes of the G-Gun, this is 72 with good decent turning speed. The G-Gun doesn't quite turn as much. Mine is obviously tuned a certain way. We only get better tuning with the raids like the Equus and the Conrad version, and then maybe when we get up to the Jesta there, but by that time the phases of technology have changed so much that yeah, that's lost to time. All right, so custom part slots, good decent amount of space, 13, 16, 15, definitely plenty of space to work with, although it is really hard to say like what you're going to be able to fit and not fit in there. Looking down the enhancement lines, I know we're kind of skipping out of order. We do have complex expansion slot right off the bat. Usually they've been kind of throwing it down here. I guess because it's a 2-star suit, this does kind of make it a little more easier to kind of fight with. So we'll see how this plays out, because all its tuning, we do get range power, but it's leading into ballistic and beam, which this is 600 cost, so I'm very curious to see if they're going to do anything on that, or they're relying on people to run the EX skill to kind of shore up its shortcomings there. Now, of course, we do have its unique beam rifle. It is a ammo-based weapon, 2250, 6 shots. Pretty good range at 375 with a 4.5 second cooldown time and a very, I would say, decent reload time, 12 seconds. Most of the other suits out there might be 15 or so, but you know, it's not bad. It's definitely workable. We do have a decent melee of 2500, 2.5 second swings. Obviously, it's unique weapon. And then Vulcans, 130, 60 rounds of the mag, 200 meter effective range, and a 10 second reload time. We do have a sub-weapon version of the rifle, which I think this is taking a cue of the F90. So this is definitely going to be something that I think, you know, if you're used to playing the F90, I think it could translate very well to this suit. But that'll be something to tell once we get to look at the shopping list of skills. This thing has a grenade rack that looks like it's a stop to fire, so this is gonna be like what the Jetta has at 450, which is nuts. 12 second reload time, 250 meters range at 700 per shot, so that's 2800 if my math is correct, and then this is probably a burst as well, so probably anywhere from 1500 to 2000 per burst. And then this has a flash grenade that actually has decent range. The problem though is, even though it's 8 seconds, the game in general for GBO2 when it comes to flash grenades has never really worked really well. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out, because to be fair, flash grenades are ass. I'm being as nice as I can about it, and anybody that's played around with that knows what I'm talking about. Alright, we do also have a shield for this too, and oh my god, I don't even have to look at anything else. This has the same skill as the Denonzon, so yeah, this is gonna have that parry. But I feel like, just like the F91, because it's not energy based, it's gonna be very hard to really make use of that, because once you lose your shield, yeah, I don't know, it's gonna be your shortcut spots are gonna get messed up. So yeah, this is gonna be something I'm gonna have to figure out. It's gonna take some time to figure out, because I know F90, I don't even bother to try to play around with it, because you're already utilizing it for your maneuver armor. It helps mitigate a lot of the stun buildup, kind of, in a way, but it doesn't. I think it's just for stuns primarily. This is what I'm thinking, because stun buildup is cumulative whether it hits your shield or not. But yeah, that's gonna be something to incorporate in. That's gonna be a lot of. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, the new 650 raid. Oh man. All right, shopping list of skills. Double roll already. That's like literally the first thing I gravitated towards, because everybody knows, you know, this. But quick boost 4. That's pretty nuts. But definitely understandable considering that it's like practically a lot smaller than the Jigen. 20% performance, so makes no, you know, it's not surprising that we have that, plus double roll, plus flight control 3. So we get half thruster consumption mid-air, level 4 glide, obviously balancers, and Bach 2, so it's going to be space compatibility like we saw, so it's going to be pain in the butt in space. 2 hits combo, force injector 2s, radar, personal radar also, frontline support 2, and flat booster. Are you kidding? For a 2-star suit, I guess you have to make it to keep up with the Denonzon. So, lo and behold, this thing's gonna have frickin' a flat booster. Ugh. Okay. I'm not complaining, I'm just like, holy crap. Alright. So, there you are. That's crazy. Alright. So, let's go ahead and play around with this thing, okay? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be testing this out, since I got lucky to drop this on the first, well, technically not the first go, but more importantly, I want to kind of see, and you guys can find out as part of this segment here. Got good responsive speed too. Yeah, pretty. Okay, so 3-shot, it's about 2/3 for build stun. So 3-shot burst. So yeah, about 17 shots for stun. Not bad. Six shots. Grenade. Okay. Does not like it. Okay. So it's a neutral thrust. Okay, I like this. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to swap that back.
Battle-type mobile suits feature a well-rounded, durable design that makes them ideal for establishing and holding the battle line. Made to deal increased damage to enemy wing attacks.
Okay. I think I've seen what I needed to see. For sure. Definitely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes tonight's news regarding our new banner suit, the 600 cost 2-star General Heavygun from Gundam F91. I want to know what you guys think overall of this suit. It looks really cool, considering the anime movie style depiction of this model kit has only been limited to that certain games, but now it's finally in Gundam Battle Operation, in Gundam Battle Operation 2. I'm so excited that I'm stuttering over my words, but I'm very curious to see what you guys think about the suit. If you guys fought it, if you guys pull on it, whatever comes to mind. I know it's another GM style, but regardless of which, it's finally here. But until next time, I will see you guys all on the next video. Take care.